Hello, friends. Welcome to the Second Phase podcast. I'm Robin Graham, your host, and a brand marketing strategist and photographer passionate about helping women connect and grow their audience and get more clients. I am so excited you are here with me today to chat all about branding, personal development, and life overall in the second phase. What is the second phase? The second phase for me was a change in careers and learning how to navigate a new world and build a business from the ground up, when I was actually terrified to put myself out into the world as something new. For some, the second phase is a significant lifestyle change, a traumatic loss, a move, an illness. It could be any number of things. No matter the definition of your second phase, we are here together to learn about creating a brand that stands out and makes an impact, and grow as our authentic selves and follow our callings, our passions, our visions, and our values. Now grab your cup of coffee or the dog's leash, and let's dive into a new episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Second Phase podcast. Today is our 100th episode. And not only that, but it is my birthday. And because I love my birthday and I celebrate all month long and bring my family into the entire month with me to celebrate and have fun, I thought it would be really cool, since it's the 100th episode, to do something special. And so my 3 kids are here today to talk with me. They're going to, I guess, ask me some questions, and I'll ask them some questions. So you guys will get a little inside scoop on what it's like inside our family. So without further ado, I will introduce Joshua, my oldest, who is 21.
Hi, everyone.
And Samuel, who is 19.
How's everybody doing?
And Gracie, who is 13.
Hi.
She's the baby of the bunch. All right, guys. So let's get started. I'm excited to see what you're going to throw at me.
Okay, if you could personal brand me in 20 seconds, give me what you got.
I'm Joshua Graham, your go-to for everything health, wellness, and fitness.
Cool.
Now, to give a little preface, I should say, to that, people who don't know Joshua, he is very fit. He's very into health, and he has not eaten sugar in, what is it, Josh, 6 years?
I don't know.
A long time. But he is extremely healthy, and he actually has an Instagram page called Win the Day J, where he shows you all of his concoctions, the recipes that he makes up, and then he photographs them, and they're all quite beautiful, and they taste every bit as good as they look. Sometimes they even taste better than they look. Who's next?
I guess I'll go. What's your favorite vacation I've ever been on?
Oh, my favorite vacation. Well, you know me, Gracie, I don't have favorites. I tend to love everything in the moment. And so it's really hard for me to say what was my favorite because I've loved so many of them. I love all of our times when it's just the 5 of us hanging out and being able to just relax and do fun things. But I think probably my all-time favorite was Italy, but Hawaii and Costa Rica are close behind that. Close seconds.
So, Mother, you've been doing personal branding and photography now for a while. As you look back on your time in that field, what would you say is your most fond memory of you carrying out your life stream?
Oh, gosh, Sam. You know, I have to say that I have had so many incredible clients and so many experiences, and I have had amazing conversations, and I've learned from my clients as much as they've learned from me. From a branding perspective, from a photography perspective, it's been really cool to meet people that were kind of famous or worked for somebody that was famous or, you know, had life experiences that were beyond anything that I've ever thought of or dreamt of. From an overall branding perspective, I think probably one of the coolest calls that I will have ever made will probably be happening soon with an actress who is also a podcast host, and she has asked me to work with her in a one-on-one brand assessment. So that's probably about as much as I can give as far as a favorite goes. But I love all my clients.
Well, we've all seen how hard you work, and I've noticed you working extra hard now in the new year. Have you set any goals for 2021? And like, what are you working towards now?
Oh, that's another good question. So right now, I just launched my one-on-one 6-month coaching program. And that has been consuming all my time since the beginning of the year because I'm very, very passionate about helping other people build personal brands. But not only that, building a strong foundation so that they can move forward, making the right decisions and have a strong foundation for success. Without having a strong foundation, and this is a great lesson for you guys, when you get out of school and start your career, you really have to have clarity on your decisions so that you can have confidence as you move forward, but also have that strong foundation no matter what, whether it's in your faith, it's in your beliefs, your morals, your ethics, so that you can launch yourself towards a strong foundation of success, long-term success, I should say. And then, the podcast has goals in and of itself. I want to reach 50,000 downloads by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. And of course, I have some financial goals around that too. But really, I want to help at least 3 people every single month brand their business and build personal brands.
Going off of the topic of goals, how much of those goals help influence you to start in the photography and personal branding? And how much of those, what would you say is still what drives you from what your original goals is starting in the business is why do you still work so hard in the business? Why do you love it so much still after so much time in it?
Wow, Sam, that's deep. I think I love it so much because I'm rewarded every single day from the work that I do. It's incredible how I can see people light up and how when things resonate with other people and I've taught them something, how they feel inspired or they feel more confident in the decisions they're going to make about their business, or just even in front of the camera, being able to capture someone's true essence and do it in a way that helps them relax and feel beautiful and confident. And then to be able to use that imagery to represent themselves online as a personal brand to help them build those emotional connections. And then, I'm a very strategic person. I mean, you guys know I like to be very organized and structured and all of that. And so that logic and strategy, it's when I see things come to fruition, I guess I'm a little bit competitive too. So I'm all about, not only helping myself achieve success, but help others achieve success. So I think that's where a lot of that drive has come from, and why still after 10 years of being in business for myself, I still have that desire to succeed and push myself to reach my goals. And that's a good lesson too, I think, because when you're passionate about something, it makes it so much easier to keep doing it and to develop really good habits and be self-disciplined around whatever that is that you're passionate about. Does that make sense?
Yep. So
Okay.
After a long day of work, you work all day, what is the first thing you do to relax?
I don't know. You tell me. Do you ever see me relax?
Not really. Just a glass of wine.
A glass of
Or
wine
2.
once in a while. Yeah.
Or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. He's kidding, everybody. That's only maybe once in a while on the weekends. So I just love to sit and talk with you guys. Like, for us to just be together and have conversations, I love that. I love when we get to play games together. And yeah, I guess to unwind, give me a good book or a cup of tea and a glass of wine and I'm happy. It doesn't take a whole lot to entertain me. I'm pretty easy to just kick back at the end of the day. So my goal is to always at night stay off my phone so that I don't have that distraction and I can just kind of clear my head. But I'd say, yeah, to relax, cup of tea or a glass of wine, a good book or a good TV show.
Do you ever miss when you would just take pictures that would go in a gallery and people would go and get to see them?
You know what I do, Gracie? I sometimes, because I'm so very busy and I'm working so hard to reach goals and help other people. Sometimes I don't get the opportunity anymore to just create things, still lifes like I used to do. And I do miss that. But hopefully in 2021, I'm going to get back into that a little bit. I don't know that I'm going to submit to juried exhibits anymore just because it takes a lot of time to, print things and an expense too, to print things and then get them framed and take them and deliver them and then be present at the show and then go and pick them up. And we live in such a crazy time right now that a lot of people aren't buying art. And so anytime I do that and participate in those exhibits, then I end up having that stock. As you know, the studio is full of all of my fine art photographs. So I do still love that and I miss it. I do miss it. So hopefully in 2021, I can start doing a little more of that again because it relaxes me. That's another thing, Josh, you guys probably remember when you were younger, like I'd kind of get lost in creating scenarios with flowers or different things. And that was really relaxing for me. If I was feeling anxious at all, I could kind of escape to that place. And I did love that. I should do that more often. That's a good question, Gracie. Thanks for reminding me of that.
What was the biggest driving factor? And like you said, like Grace's question, you started off doing more like photography for nature and flowers and things like that, and just putting pictures in galleries. But now you're focused more on personal branding and helping people. What would you say is the biggest driving factor, or has been the biggest driving factor in the growth of your business from what it started out to be to what it is now, in terms of your having a podcast, having your personal branding, and still having your photography?
So when I first started out, so much of the photography was still learning, right? I had taken pictures my whole life. I'd loved it my whole life. I was passionate about it. But with anything in life, you have to work really hard to perfect the skills. And I still haven't perfected it. There's so much with photography that is challenging or difficult. And so a lot of what I created early on was simply out of practice. I just loved to do it. And so I would set scenarios up using natural light and just try to create as much as I could create. And I was fortunate, I was blessed. I had a good eye and I had the creativity and the talent to be able to capture some really awesome things. But I also, despite the fact that I am an introvert, I still love to work with people and I like human connection. And I think transitioning from just doing fine art. And you know what? The other thing, Sam, is that when I first started, it was such a flip of the switch, going from corporate and being in the pharmaceutical industry and everything to doing photography, because there was a lot of security in that. And that was how everyone knew me. That my personal brand involved me being a pharmacist and working in corporate. And so to transition out of that, there was a lot of fear, like, well, I'm putting myself out here in a new way. And so I was afraid to jump right into portraiture photography and everything. But then when I did get my first client after putting myself out there and telling everyone what I was doing, it was a personal branding photography client. Her name was Lori Rosalowski. She is a musician and entertainer, a songwriter, and I did all of her photography for her. And I just knew at that moment in time, that's what I wanted to do. But I was new to photography professionally. And so I took the long way around trying to figure everything out. And it wasn't until maybe 4 years ago that I really kind of, I'd say, niche down to where headshots and branding photography was all I was going to do. And then when I was working with those clients, I knew from talking to them that they didn't know how to use the images on social media. They didn't know how to use them on their website in a way that's going to help drive traffic to their website, search engine optimization. And so there were so many strategy components that people didn't know about using photography, but also just about building a brand in general. And because I had been doing it for myself for so many years, I discovered really quickly that I had the answers to all of their questions. So why not create a business around being able to help them? That's kind of what led me to the trajectory that I'm on now.
So you say you're on your second phase. That's the name of the podcast. And obviously you went through a big life change. Do you foresee yourself staying in the second phase or moving forward eventually and progressing onward?
Well, since you ask, and I don't know if I've even told you guys this, I know I told Dad this, but I've been working on a book for a really long time, just hit and miss. I would write sometimes, and then I would put it on the back burner because I thought, well, am I really the person to write this book? What do I know? But I've just had this really strong pull on my heart, like God's leading me towards writing this book. And I finally met with someone last week who is an editor and a publisher. And so my book will actually launch January 18th of 2022. So I now have a fire lit underneath of me to get the first draft done and in her hands. And then we will be working on the launch strategy. And so hopefully I will then get to become more of a speaker, and I'll have author under my belt as well. So I will still be doing exactly what I'm doing today because I love it, but I'm going to add, I don't know if we're adding a third phase or if we're just adding another component under the brand, the Robin Graham. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sounds pretty cool.
So it'd be like phase 2.1.
Yeah, phase 2.1. So do I get to ask you guys questions now?
If you want.
Just a couple? Okay, I'm going to ask a couple. All right, so I'm going to ask all of you to tell me. I want to know, well, Gracie, you're a little young for this question, but for the boys, I want to know what has inspired you to go to college to get the degrees that you're on the course to get, and who has inspired you to do what you're doing or want to be what you want to be? Like, who were those big influencers in your life?
Well, the first part of the question, what inspired me to go to college? As you said earlier, I have like a lot of passion for health and fitness. And I think it's really cool to be able to study chemical processes and biology and be able to understand why everything works the way it does, why eating more fruits and vegetables is healthy for you and makes a difference in your body in the long run, how it's digested. So I guess like pursuing that and understanding why is a big thing for me. And then obviously you were a big inspiration. Growing up, you always taught me kind of to not just accept everything, but challenge it. And you showed me all your work ethic. I'll always remember you hiring the nannies because you worked all day and all of that. So you've definitely always been an inspiration and helped me to find out who I am and promote who I am and who I want to be. So thank you so much for all of that.
Wow. Bringing tears to my eyes, guys. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm not going to promise mine's going to be as heartfelt as that one was. Don't know. Probably should have gone first. Can't really follow that up as well, but
You be you, Sam. You be you.
yeah, so in terms of inspiration to go to college, I just kind of always knew, I guess. I mean, going through LaSalle and everything, I'm like, well, obviously I'm going to LaSalle because I want to go to a good college. But I mean, in terms of why I'm at Syracuse, I got to look into sports, football, and my love of being able to talk to people, just seeing people face to face and communicating with them. And that in turn goes with sports, is that I just loved everything about sports, interacting with sports, watching sports, seeing sports, knowing how the sports work. And so knowing that there was a program at Syracuse named after Michael Jordan's agent, the GOAT, I wanted to study there under that because sports agent's what I want to be. So I guess through that, I just figured that why wouldn't I go to a place where I could study sports and learn how to deal with the ins and outs of everything that's behind the scenes that most people don't understand about anything about, as to what actually happens. Like, for example, each and every Sunday in the NFL season. Just learn about all that, I guess, is mine. In terms of biggest inspiration for me for doing that, I don't know. I've always just inspiration wise in terms of college and everything, biggest thing I can think of is I've always looked at our family history, especially going back. And I think, well, Dad worked his butt off his whole life and Mom worked her butt off her whole life to better their economic situations from where they grew up. And while I am blessed to have grown up in the economic situation they have given to me, I'd look at what they did. And then I look at, for example, how Grandpa Bob hitchhiked his way out there and became very successful in what he did. And I just realized that our family has a history of being guys who just people who just work hard to succeed. And that's kind of I wanted to be able to continue on that tradition.
I love that. And you're right. You have the gift of talking to people and getting to know them and diving deep into statistics on everything related to sports. So I know you're going to be very successful in that industry, and I'm really excited. And I'm hoping that you'll get me a handshake with some of these GOATs going forward, like Michael Jordan or whoever.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be meeting Michael Jordan.
But you know what I mean. The big guys, the big names, whoever they may be by the time you get through school and become what you're going to become.
Yep.
All right, Gracie. So now we know what the boys love and what they're going to do when they grow up, which they're both so close to being all grown up. What about you?
I'm not exactly sure what I want to be yet. I just don't really know.
What are some of the things that you feel passionate about, though, that you really like to do, that you like to research? Because I know you love to research stuff on the computer.
I don't really know.
Oh, come on. You love interior design, don't you?
I guess a little bit.
Yeah. What else? You love animals?
Yeah.
You're just going to be shy, huh?
No, I just don't know.
All right. Well, you guys, do you have any more questions for me?
No, I don't think so.
You don't
But
think so?
I just want to say that I think it's really cool what you're doing and how hard you work. And I think you're really impressive. Keep it up. I love you.
Wow. Thanks, babe. Thank you.
I second what Josh just said.
I do want everybody to know. You third it, Gracie? I do want everybody to know, like, they're talking about how hard I work. I really do work hard, but I also play hard. Like, right, guys? I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do, right? We have a lot of fun together when we have downtime and we get to travel and we don't have, like, COVID hanging over our heads and we can just chill together.
Well, yeah, here's what I'll say about this, is that you will have fun, but you have a work second, or work first, work second, work third, and then have fun attitude.
All right, but
so,
we also laugh a lot, right? Like, I give you a lot of material for jokes.
I will say we have fun. Yes, and I enjoy spending time with you, and I'm not going to disagree. You are fun, but you still have the personality of a work first, work second, and then work third. And then
especially when Josh and I sprayed you with the water hose and you freaked out.
Oh, that's right. That was, what was that? Halloween or April Fool's something. I don't know. So listeners, if your kids have never done this to you, always look at the hose on the sink before you turn the water on, because they've gotten me a few times. They use clear tape to make sure that the nozzle is pushed in so that when I turn on the faucet, the water all squirts out at me and all over everywhere else. So that's just one of the silly things, but there have been many. They have a lot of material between themselves and their dad and all the things that they come up with to jab me about. But with that, I think we're going to close out. You guys, do you have anything else you want to say before we close out the episode?
I've got nothing.
You've got nothing. They're all shaking their heads no. So they really aren't this shy, listeners. Gracie can talk a blue minute. Sam can talk anybody's arm off. Josh is more quiet and analytical, more introverted like me, but they're quiet tonight. So I guess I've put them on the spot. But I'm so grateful that they were here, and I can't even begin to tell you how very, very much I love them and treasure them. And God has truly blessed me with these three amazing beings that I'm blessed to call my kids. And that's a wrap, friends. Thank you so much for listening today. I am grateful to have you here with me. If you enjoyed this episode and found the information helpful, will you please take a moment to subscribe and leave a rating and review? That would mean the world to me. It will also help others find the podcast. I really look forward to getting to know my listeners. Will you please connect with me on Instagram? You can find me at The Robin Graham. You can also find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Robin Graham. And I invite you to join my private Facebook group, The Brand Marketing Insider. Please spread the word about the Second Phase podcast. Until next time, remember to smile.